Hey, what's good, dog? Welcome back to another reaction video. But first, a quick but kind of not quick tangent. We'll get to the actual reaction soon, just bear with me. Now, as most of you know, and if you're new here, I am not an LGBTQ IEP+ Pro Max ally. The gay people, though, they're alright, but the trans people, I've had problems with them since the beginning of the pandemic. And one thing I think is most important for all of you to understand about me in particular is, I don't believe these particular things that I believe because people told me to think this way, and I'm a bigot, and I have so much hatred in my heart. These are things I believe because I used to think more progressively, and this is something I talked about in a reply to a comment in one of my recent anti-trans videos. But in my early days of high school, I used to think that I should have been born a woman, and I was genuinely thinking like, dang, life would be so much easier if I just magically became a woman. Not necessarily transition, but just fairy godmother, poof, now I'm a woman with a fat rack and big booty and budussy. Not only that, but I was also debating on pretending to come out as gay. Okay, literally just convince people, oh, I'm just a kawaii femboy, I like men, can I get invited to the girls' sleepover, please? Like, that was literally my plan. My goal was to get invited to a girl's sleepover by pretending I was gay. Do you know how I got out of that mindset? By listening to the far right and becoming homophobic and transphobic and racist. I'm just kidding. I opened my mind. I learned about all of the advantages that men have and all of the perks, and even the advantages that women have, but it comes at a cost. Periods, okay? Woman hormones that make them super emotional. But at the same time, you know, I was still thinking about the advantages that they did have at the end of the day. They have brat summer, okay, or even hot girl summer. They have Taylor Swift and Sassy Red and Cardi B. What do us men have? We have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Call of Duty, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump. I was beginning to learn that schmeksh in gender is more than just an identity. It's a lifestyle. And just because some things might get easier once you transition or magically become a woman fairy godmother style, it comes at a cost with other things becoming harder. Imagine if I knew how to cook perfectly well and I was the best cook on the block. But as a trade-off, I couldn't go to bed without crying myself to sleep because, oh my gosh, woman emotions. Are you saying that all women can't go to sleep without crying themselves to sleep? No, it's just a joke. You get what I'm saying, though. So now let's get political. I began to look at other people that were suffering with the same kind of mentality. Oh, I wish I was the opposite gender because their life just seems so much easier, without understanding the nuance that even I learned at the exact same time as they were feeling euphoric. Or dysphoric, I don't remember the right word. Is society and life in general better with trans people? I don't know. Is life and society better with diversity, equity, and inclusion, parentheses DEI? Probably not, actually. Should someone be marginalized and be in a victim complex and be given privileges because of their identity and the choices that they made in life? Whether or even the choices that they didn't make and it's beyond their control, like their gender or race? No. And I'm not the only one waking up to this fact. Okay, you've been seeing the Olympics going on like this week and last week. People are finally waking up and realizing, gosh dang it, the LGBTs, they've really taken it too far. Because you look at the Olympics opening ceremony, you see all these gay people and all of these femboys and liptards on the screen. And you're like, oh my gosh, ew, an F slur. And they're like, what are you, homophobic? No, it just looks disgusting. It doesn't matter that they're gay, it's just, I don't want to be looking at this. My family is in the room. There's a naked blue Smurf on the screen. And so many people have made this comparison before, but the 2008 Beijing Olympics, like, look at that thing. What the frick happened? Why are we giving so much privilege to like 2% of the world and leaving the other 98% of the world just baffled, like, gosh dang it, we don't matter even though we take up like the majority of the population in the world. Like, what's going on? And I'm not saying that giving a voice to marginalized people or minorities in general is bad. I'm just saying, why the frick do they have more privilege than the rest of the world? We're all supposed to be equal. Why is it when they get criticized, it's bad, but when normal Christians or whatever get criticized or murdered. Nobody gives a frick. Anyway, so the point of why I'm mentioning this is that you guys are not winning, okay? Your community is shrieking. The LGB has been divorced from the TQ plus and the LGBTQIAP plus Romax community. You guys are dying, okay? A community that like promotes sterilization and polyamory and not having children as quick as straight white people. That's not really a very productive community, and you guys aren't going to last much longer if that's what you're going to promote. Like, think of the emos. Emos back in the late 2000s and early 2010s. What happened to them? They all killed themselves. Okay? So you get what I'm getting. You see what I'm saying? If this is a war and it's been going on for the past few years, it isn't going to last much longer. If you're a biological man boxing against a biological woman and beating her face in and breaking her nose, you're done. You're done. It's over. And it's so beautiful to see. And I know that boxer in particular is technically a woman, but also technically a dude because they have the XY chromosomes, even though they were raised a woman all their life and they're like inner Shreks or something, or they have the hormone disability. I don't give a frick, okay? They're technically a man because they have all of that testosterone, and it is just disproportionately unfair to be boxing an actual woman. We know what you guys were doing. Now, before I close off my rant here, I'm going to bring us to this tweet. Whenever I talk about my experience with gender or sexual dysphoria when I was younger, at least one libtard always says, "Girl, you were gaslighted by the far right. You've been a girl this whole time and refused to transition into the muscular woman you are always meant to be." Literally got this comment today, and I just realized something. I think this is technically grooming. If this person is well into adulthood, as I'm 17 years old, yes, I'm a minor, then them thinking it's okay to gaslight me and say I'm actually a woman does not look good for them at all. If you hate on HRT or gender affirming stuff, just means you have your own internal issues. 5 years tops, you're gonna have she, her in your bio. Don't worry, man, we'll support you. Now, if this person is joking, whatever, I don't give a frick, but I'm just talking to the rest of you. If you think it's okay to literally groom minors like me and anyone else younger than me, and gaslighting them into thinking that they're not the gender they're born as, or they're actually attracted to men, you guys are the problem, okay? Stop commenting stuff like this. This isn't the only time. I don't think I need to show any other instance, because you get the idea. And at the beginning of this video, like literally the first thing I started talking about is how I used to think I was a woman, or I wanted to convince everyone that I was attracted to men. That is not a healthy lifestyle at all, and I can tell you right now, that was like in the middle of the most miserable part of my life, okay? And I don't want to get back to that. I wouldn't wish transness or fake gayness on anyone. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's productive. I think if I had the choice, I would just push a button and make everyone in the world normal, because normalcy, it's literally the only way for society to progress properly. That's how we get back to Rome, and then Rome will fall, and then we'll rebuild Rome. Having a bunch of people sterilizing themselves and taking themselves out of the gene pool because it's progressive and they want all of the kids to be just like them, what the frick? Who thought that this was a good idea to promote in Hollywood? And obviously, like, if you have your own schmexual preference and you have a kink, that's your choice. But to push this on kids and to literally say you're being oppressed when really we just have our own beliefs and we decide to disagree with you, it's just like pure victim mentality, and I'm sick of it. I'm tired of you guys not taking accountability for these things and just using a red herring. Like, in all of my videos that I've made this year about the trans stuff, you guys focus on the things that you can argue, and you technically win the argument because it's a smaller issue to what everything else that I said in the video that just completely outs you guys. You don't want to talk about it because you know I'm right. I would love to go on and on about this, but I need to get to the actual reaction. This is going to be another long-ish video today. Hopefully I can cut it down a little bit shorter. I'm not going to show everything in this video. Aston Harrell Herles. Yeah, I still don't know how to say that last name, but Aston, I reacted to your video over here like 2 weeks ago, and now we're back. We're watching your video again. So this is a video that they uploaded like right after the main video that I reacted to, kind of elaborating on the asexual representation in media thing. And I don't know what to expect. I didn't watch like any of this before reacting, and so this is like a blind. I've been meaning to watch this for a while, and I'm just like, you know what, let's just react to it. Why not? We're gonna be transphobic for the third video in a row.
Back around 2021, Phineas and Ferb co-creator Dan Povenmire responded to a fan's question on TikTok regarding if Perry the Platypus was part of the LGBTQ+ community, to which Dan responded, "Does asexual count?" A lot of people took this as confirmation, and Perry the Platypus is now considered by some to be one of the very few examples of ace representation in media. But since the beginning, I've had very conflicting feelings about the whole matter. Seriously, the only two shows I've seen that showed and explored asexuality with their human characters are BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth. Yes, you heard me right. Big Mouth had a whole arc where an asexual teenager named Elijah discovers and accepts himself for who he is. If Big Mouth can do proper asexual representation, what's everyone else's excuse, huh? Asexual representation overall is very lacking. We have BoJack Horseman and Big Mouth with asexual characters that get their asexuality explored in interesting ways, even talking about the different kinds of asexual people out there, and that's really it. There's not a lot of asexual characters, and even fewer get to have their aceness openly talked about, and in at least one case had their asexuality outright erased. I'm looking at you, Riverdale. I know what you did to Jughead.
So we're a little bit over 3 minutes into this video. You know when you're just roaming the halls, you're trying to find that one classroom, it's like your new class, whatever the frick. You walk into this one random class, you're like, oh, this has to be it. And you walk in there, everyone's staring at you, and you look at the math on the board, it's like pre-calculus, and you're like, what the frick is that? That's what I feel like right now. I feel like I'm peering into like a debate club where they're talking about just stuff I don't give a frick about. I can probably think of a much better joke that could make this easily more understandable, but that's all I got right now. I'm super tired today. I would hate to be that guy that's just like, oh, you know what my job on YouTube is? To make videos fantasizing about cartoon characters' sexualities. I want to know who the frick they would date and who the frick they would frick. Alright, if you feel me? That just sounds so weird, okay? Like, I know everyone's calling Republicans weird right now, and that's like the buzzword for the Kamala Harris campaign, and I know I'm getting super duper political right now, but just bear with me. Look at you guys. You don't want to admit it, but you guys are so insecure and just miserable. This is what you care about? Cartoons, characters, sexualities. Professor Teagues, why are you reacting to the video? Why don't you just leave them be? Well, because I just am, okay?
Especially since I feel that aromanticism and asexuality get conflated quite often. Same with autism and
Why is the autism symbol rainbow?
Now, you're probably saying, well, what about SpongeBob? Steven Hillenburg outright said he was asexual. This is true, but I do want to consider that he likely said this because of claims by conservatives that he intended for SpongeBob and Patrick to be gay because they were in some supportive non-profit's music video.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Family, people, monsters, lions, bears, dinosaurs, mice, chickens, aardvarks, all coming together. Let's sing together.
That whole thing was weird. Anyway, to quote Hillenburg in 2005, we never intended them to be
whatever the
gay.
figure pronouns are.
I consider them to be almost asexual. We're just trying to be funny, and this has got nothing to do with the show. There's also the fact that real-life sea sponges reproduce asexually, and Hillenburg insisted in the writer's room that SpongeBob should never be in a romantic relationship, as he is too innocent for that sort of thing.
I agree.
Swampy Marsh responded to a fan's question on Twitter about if there were any LGBTQ+ people in Danville, and if so, who. And he said, 1, of course. 2, it's nobody's business but their own. And as a queer fan, that response is kind of a cop-out to me. They have had, and still have, opportunities to give us on-screen representation, whether it be in the form of Buford and Baljeet.
Man, Aston is doing it again. They did this in the last video. They're like, oh, we need more representation of our people. It's a bloody kids show. Why the frick are you putting these weird labels on these bloody children? Like I said towards the beginning of my video here, stop grooming minors into thinking that they're something that they're not. And I know that these kids aren't real, but you know, it's like using the same excuse of lolicons. Like, oh, it's not a real person. It's a 1,000-year-old elf. I can jerk off to them. Yeah, that's literally you guys. You guys are lolicons. Get out of here.
Or it's like, and you know, I think this this was something that it's like we talked about, was like whether Cavendish and Dakota could be in a relationship.
Okay, so you were saying one of the things we talked about was whether or not
lag.
Cavendish and Dakota could be in a relationship. That was where you started.
Yes.
Hell, Perry the Platypus could be transgender as well, making all the writers' goof-ups with platypus anatomy mean something deeper than they originally intended. Instead, we get this sort of running gag of frenemies being like romantic relationships, and that's about it.
There's a nerd-shaped hole, a bully-sized hole, a big honking hole in my heart.
So search your heart, please, Dr. D, and I am sure that you will see that you were always meant to be my only lifelong enemy.
And yeah, it can be funny and genuinely heartwarming at times. I'm not saying it isn't, but I have similarly conflicted feelings about that portrayal as well. Besides, can you blame queer fans for wanting more than just that? For wanting to see themselves in their favorite show treated as normal and positively as anything else in it?
Oh my gosh, shut the frick up. Why don't you make like a fan fiction, okay? You put your self-insert OC character in and like you just make hentai of these minors, okay? Is that what you want? Is that what you're begging for? Also, again, like I said towards the end of my first video reacting to Aston's first video here, Perry the Bloody Platypus is a bloody platypus, an animal, okay? You're sexualizing an animal. You want to know what the frick they're attracted to. You want to see them go down on the cum clown. I don't know. I'm not saying I want to see them have schmecks. I just want them to show physical attraction to other, like, living creatures. That's weird. Shut the frick up. I don't care. You guys are just projecting so much of your, like, schmexual fantasies. I know Aston is Arrow Ace. I don't give a frick. You're enabling the fan fiction of animals and children in a kid's show. And in your defense, you're also trying to schmexualize Doofenshmirtz, who is an adult, but still. And this representation that they're begging for, Aston said it about BoJack Horseman. There's literally, like, an episode where there's ace people and stuff. And so, like, you're begging for this representation when literally adult cartoons are full of it, okay? Leave Phineas and Ferb alone. There's so much more potential. This is what happens when you're uncultured. You hyperfixate on this one thing and you're like, why doesn't representation exist? And that one person's like, well, look at this. And you find BoJack Horseman and you're like, what? Where has this been all my life? They have representation in a cartoon that's not Phineas and Ferb? Oh my gosh, I'm so horny.
And if you want some asexual stories written by ace writers, I recommend the book Being Ace, an anthology of queer, trans, femme, and disabled stories of asexual love and connection. It's a collection of different short stories by asexual writers I started recently, and I really like it so far.
I would also like to recommend an ace story. SpongeBob. Just skip a few episodes throughout the whole series where they do have some like hetero like stuff going on and some homo stuff, but just just pretend those episodes don't exist, and then just go ham at every other episode that doesn't have any schmexual feelings in it at all. SpongeBob is the greatest ace representation in an entire cartoon. Like, it's just really good. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I'm just recommending it. I'm putting it out there. Yeah, SpongeBob, it was released in 1999 by Nickelodeon, directed by, or created by Steven Hillenburg, whatever the frick. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's just a better alternative to Phineas and Ferb. I really like it. I don't know if you guys would like it. I'm putting it out there. But yeah, I think we can all agree that I absolutely wasted my time reacting to this video today and editing it and uploading it to my channel. So yeah, that's fair. I didn't need to make this video, but if you don't know, I upload once a week, and obviously there's been a lot of political stuff going on, Olympics, and yeah, and so I decided to rant about the trans community before reacting to a video that has nothing to do with the trans community, but about ace people and gay people. And so welcome to the Professor Teague's channel, okay? This is just schlop. I didn't want to put that much effort in today's video. the season of Fortnite right now, it's ending, and so I need to get on and grind after this video is uploaded. So yeah, I guess you all just got baited again, because I'm just a content farm, I guess. I don't know. Sub to the second channel, follow the Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok, and join the Discord server. Follow other social media. Bye-bye.